Welcome to this session of my video series, The Heroine's Journey. And it's going to be a little bit different today. It's going to be from me to you, kind of off the cuff, sort of behind the curtain. Usually when I prepare to do these for my YouTube channel, I do a lot of detailed notes. I practice. I make sure everything is as right as I can make it, even though I still make mistakes. But not this time. I just felt it in my gut that I had to just go with what was coming up in the moment for me. And the reason being is that my life has recently shifted, and not in a bad way. And let me tell you, it could have been much worse, much worse. My husband had an accident, and again, it could have been much worse. He fell, he broke 7 ribs, and his pelvis has been fractured in a couple of places, and he's been hurting, but he's on the mend, and the doctors have told him he's healing really well. So why do I feel like I need to talk about this with you? Because I think it, even though it's calamity, there's opportunity here. So acknowledging it instead of just going on like everything's the same. And I've had a good run, I think, for me, with the sacred feminine or the eternal feminine, talking about it with you. And I just felt that this needed to be acknowledged. It needed to be acknowledged that this happens to us, right? It happens that life is going along, and then there's some abrupt something, and it changes things. And it's interesting how I have processed what's going on with me as well as what's going on with my husband. And you might imagine when it happened, he had to be rushed in an ambulance to the hospital. So I was right there helping, caring for him in the hospital when he came home. It'll be 3 weeks this Thursday. And so it was all about, my focus was on him. And even though that was the case, I was still writing my blog and doing the things I had to do to keep this business of mine going. Until today, when this video was due, and I thought, I just have to share what's been going on with me, because I know this happens to all of us. It's not just me, that things happen. And we tend, I think, to put on a good face when it's not the same. And it's good to acknowledge that things are hard. And for me, my biggest complaint right now is I'm tired, but it's definitely, the whole thing has been a first world issue. No, my home hasn't been bombed. I haven't been attacked in any way. The hospital's been great. The people we've worked with have been wonderful. Again, he could be dead, but he fell in such a way that it was totally something he can heal from. But an interesting thing happened, and of course we've been talking about it and talking about it, and just the other day he said to me, "So did you cry? Were you panicking? Were you, running around in circles?" And that was the first time I kind of reflected back on myself and said, no, I didn't cry. I didn't panic. I knew what I had to do. He fell. He was in trouble. I raced to the car, I had just gotten home, got my cell phone and called 911 and talked to them until they got there. And because they tell you to do that. stay with me, Susanna, which I did. And but then the EMTs get there and they take over, and then the ambulance takes over, and then the hospital. And so I was there to support, which was great. But then I began thinking, no, I didn't cry. I didn't panic. I was just very clear and focused the whole time. And even coming home, and, it's been okay. I knew he was going to heal well. Um, so then I've been wondering about that. Why? And then I've been thinking, 5 years ago, would that have been the case? Because certainly in my life, I've been known to panic. So right now, as I'm still processing this and talking it over, thinking out loud with you, I'm thinking it's because I meditate. And when I started meditating, which was, I think, about 8 or 9 years ago, and I decided to do it with transcendental meditation. So that's the method I learned. That's how I meditate every morning. And most afternoons is using a mantra that you're given, and I do transcendental meditation. And when I started it, it was, well, all right. So, well, as long as we're being honest, I did it at the beginning so that my husband would do it, because he tends to get anxious. And of course, we went to the first training, and then the second training, it was just me. It was not for him. And what was remarkable for me was that even though I never thought of myself as particularly anxious, my anxiety level went way down right away. And so I kept doing it. And the way that you're taught is you keep going for checkups. And I had a wonderful person, Ruth, in her 80s to check in with. And so that was the immediate result. But other things, like time and I started getting along a lot better. I would not be late. I would know what I had to do and get it done in time that I said I was going to get it done. I mean, it just all of a sudden, after being always, I remember a boss of mine saying, I think you're always a 10-minute late person. And I was for a while, but not when I started meditating. And the other thing I noticed about meditating was that the things just worked out. I can't describe it any other way. It always seemed to be the best outcome happened. Things just kind of flowed. And maybe that's an overused cliche, but I've had more of a feeling of being in the flow. So then this thing happens, and I don't cry or panic or freak out. I think maybe it's because of these years of meditation. And I remember one of my most favorite quotes, and I have it here to read to you. And it's by Juan Ramon Jimenez. My boat struck something deep. Nothing happened. Sound, silence, waves. Nothing happened? Or perhaps everything happened, and I'm sitting in the middle of my new life. So I think what this has got me thinking is that awareness, I don't want to call it enlightenment because I don't even know what that is, but becoming more aware happens gradually. I think, well, some people, it's like a train just hit you head on, but but I think it's more of a gradual thing. And so this made me think, oh, so has been working on me. I'm seeing a result in this. And what a valuable thing to practice something and have these results, reactions that benefit one's life. So I wanted to just be grateful to Ruth and to the practice of meditation and transcendental meditation. I'm grateful to myself that I did it, even though typical for me, I did it for somebody else initially, and but then I kept it up. And so really, that's my message for today, is to find a way that you can get quiet and get more in sync with the larger something that is in us and around us and in everything. So I think that's definitely what happens when you meditate. And I wanted to share that it certainly paid off for me, and I know it will pay off for you. So thank you for listening to this kind of unorthodox sharing. It's coming right from my heart. I appreciate you taking the time to listen. So I won't keep you much longer. May you have many blessings today and every day. And join me for whatever is my next one, which I think is probably going to be about the eternal feminine or something like that, because that's where my journey's been headed. Oh, and one more thing. We're starting the Comfort Zone Challenge again, and I hope you'll join me. It's just practicing leaving your comfort zone in little ways, medium ways, big ways, to just exercise that muscle of, okay, it's all right to step out. It's okay to leave. It's a way we gain confidence and try new things and get a chance to see if we like them or don't like them. So we do it together. It's for 7 weeks. There's a way to sign up on my website, and I hope you'll do it. Okay. And thank you for listening to me share my recent experience. Okay.